Hello everyone, it's Rider here and welcome to the first week in toys of 2023. I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year and everything like that. And yeah, I'm here again with you to talk about toys, and there has been toys since I spoke to you last. Thanks to everyone who watched the top 10 Transformers of 2022 video. Cheers for that, thanks for all your comments, that's been awesome. But we're not finished with 2022 yet, because there was a figure that I bought in the sales, and this arrived on New Year's Eve. And I bought this from In Demand Toys. I have opened him up. It is Red Cog. I've got the original Cog figure, which is pretty decent, although it has a lot of QC issues, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't tab in at the waist very well, and the legs fall off. And unfortunately, this guy is pretty much the same in those department. The waist is a little bit better. This was going for about 33 quid, 35 quid. I've seen it at some of the toy fairs, which is far too much, because it's basically a weaponizer pack with Cog. So you get all these extra weapons that you can see on there. And also these grenades and all that kind of stuff. I was never going to pay 35 quid for him. He was $16.99 in the sale. I think I ended up with some points I've got from In Demand of getting him for like, I think it was £19 posted. Yeah, and he's quite a nice figure. I was originally going to just use the weapons for some of the other War for Cybertron figures, but I kind of like him all like tanked up. The original plan was to combine him with RC, because this figure can combine with the Kingdom RC. And was it Earthrise as well, RC, I think. But anyway, picked up Cog. He was the last figure of 2022, and he's not a bad one. He was better for £20, well £19 than he would have been for 35. He's not worth 35 quid at all. So the following day was New Year's Day, and I popped out. I can't remember why I popped out. I think I needed to go and get some bits from the shops or whatever. And I went into Game. I was going to have a look in Smith, actually, in Tamworth, but it was shut on New Year's Day. But we did go into Game, me and my son. He bought some Beyblades. I don't know why he hasn't been into them before, but they were a fiver, so we picked up them. And I spotted two things in there. They have been having the Cyberverse figures in there, like the bigger ones, but they've started to have the Dinobot Adventure repacks of some of the deluxes. And I picked up RC. So she is the first Transformer of 2023. And she's alright. I know that she's got some yellowing issues that appear on some of this lighter pink plastic, but mine seems okay at the moment, and it is a later run figure. It's from the, as I said, the rerun of the Dinobot Adventure figures. They don't come with the Build-A-Figure pieces, which is unfortunate, but do come with the blast effects in the gun. She's got a massive backpack. She looks like something out of A Bug's Life, doesn't she? But she's not a bad little figure. It's always cool to have another RC. And yeah, I picked her up. She was 15 quid, $14.99. But that wasn't the only thing I picked up from Game. She's fallen over now. I picked up this. This was $5.99, and I couldn't leave it. They had about 4 or 5 of them on the shelf. It is Black Series Mandalorian Credit Collection Mandalorian from Season 2, I think it is. It does come with his backpack, but this is the same figure that I made the custom cape for, because I don't know if you've seen this, but if you put that backpack on, just the cape looks stupid. So I kind of keep that off. But he was 6 quid. I was tempted to keep him in the box, but the box was a bit dinged up. And I'm happy I took him out now. He's pretty cool. If I could just use him as another background Mandalorian if I wanted to. He's got this like blue colouring on there, so it's kind of meant to look like the end credits. That's what the credit collection is all about, not like accuracy to the show. But yeah, he was alright for $5.99. This is how I collect Black Series now. When they are cheap, I shall pick them up. And you don't get much cheaper than $5.99. I have seen Moff Gideon actually for, I think it's £6.50. But I don't feel the need to pick him up. I think the Mandalorian was a cool little addition to have. Then Mr. Shotton helped me with something. He randomly sent me a picture of some of his brother-in-law's collection, and he's going through the process of re-getting some of the figures that he had as reissues into official ones, and he somehow acquired another one of these figures that he didn't need. I think this was the one out of his collection, and it is an original one, but it's been replaced with one slightly better condition, and I'm not that fussed. It's got a little bit of chrome wear on it. I love to pick up a bit of G1, especially moulds that I haven't had before, and I love my cassette bots. And apart from Beast Box now, which I think is the only cassette that I haven't got, well, there was one of them missing, and that was Slugfest here. I think Overkill, or I think his name's Overkill, the T-Rex Transformer cassette, I've had him for a good few years now, and I've always been on the lookout for a Slugfest, and I've never been able to find one for a decent price. This was 30 quid posted. It is an original one. As I say, it's got a little bit of chrome wear on there, but it's got, I mean, I'm happy it's got the accessories full stop, to be honest with you. I'm going to take them off so you can see. But yeah, he's a Stegosaurus cassette. It's got a little bit of damage to the heat sticker, the rub sign, but that doesn't matter. And it's quite a cool little transformation, because this part here is on a spring, and basically what happens is you push that down and then these lock it in place and it becomes a cassette, which is awesome. I love my cassette transformers, especially the Decepticon cassettes. They're the ones that I love. And as I say, apart from Beastbox, who is going to cost me a fortune if I do go around to get him, then this is I think this was the final Decepticon I needed. So that is pretty awesome. He's going to go in my cassettes little display over there, and I might do a video on all the original cassettes because it's quite cool. I've got a right little collection of them now. So cheers Dave, cheers John, thanks for helping me get a G1 figure. And I do love to get a G1 figure that I haven't got each year, and it's pretty cool to get it within the second week of January. Now, I have got a parcel, the first parcel that you're going to see of 2023, well, me open it anyway, and this was an eBay lot, and I've got the stuff in here, right? I think I've got all the stuff in here, I think so anyway. Well, one of them I need to replace one that I'd sold, but the other stuff I've got versions of. But this lot was £20. Dave shot and spotted it on a buy it now on eBay, and it's got a few missing pieces and all that. But I thought for £20 it'd be a bit of fun to open it. I've got a little plan for one of the things in here. Right, I mean, taped up really well. Got loads of paper, which is good for the reside. But let's go for this one first. Right, so this is a figure that I had and I sold, and it's not complete. I've got the guns for it somewhere, but I think this guy's actually got the wrong head with him. It's a Titans Return figure. But I think Mr. Shooty is going to help me out with getting the other part for it, the head. So here we go. Well, it's a shame that it's broken. I didn't notice that, which is a little bit annoying, but never mind. Never mind. Yeah, it's broken on the back there. Yeah, it was on the picture, so that's a little bit annoying. This is the one thing that I wanted out of it. Never mind. It's one of them things where on the pictures you can't really see it until it's there, so I can't really moan about it. But never mind. So yeah, this hot rod is probably just trash, which never mind. But I've got the Titan Master, which is Cup, which. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to sell that on. I'm sure someone will need a cup head somewhere. But yeah, it looks like this hot rod has seen better days. And unless I can find a junker, yeah, I'll have to say. Put it in my spares box, see what I find. Maybe I'll stumble across something and I can't do. But yeah, never mind. Never mind, not the best start. This was the thing that I really was excited about. This is... really, this is worth the admission alone. And I hope it is all there. Well, I know it's not all there, but I hope it is all there, if you know what I mean. So this is... So there's nothing broken on that part. Yeah, so this is a MP28 Rodimus Prime. Sorry, Hot Rod figure. This is MP28 Rodimus, or Hot Rod. And I think it's a KO. I think it is a KO. And £20, this is worth it alone. It doesn't come with any of the accessories. I don't know if it's got the hands. That's one thing that I'm going to have a look at now. It looks like it's got the hands. Yeah, a little bit of chrome wear on it, which is fine. I mean, I'd expect that. But yeah, this is worth it for 20. It looks like he's got the visor on there. I think it is a KO because of the colour of this blue here. But I'll try and tidy him up in a minute, get him sorted, get him in his robot mode, I think, and see how he looks. But that's not too bad. That's a good little thing for £20. And my idea behind it is was going to get a sticker set for it from Toy Hacks. Because I think it is a KO. I've got the original one over there. It's got a different colour blue. I think it was a different colour altogether. We'll have a look in a minute anyway. But yeah, so I've got a Masterpiece hot rod, and I'm thinking about doing some toy hacks work on it. This is the final piece, and again, one I'm not that fussed about, but I can't remember if I sold this or not. I really can't remember. Well, I don't know which version of it is. Oh, so this is missing a piece. It's missing his launcher, but this is the original Siege Sideswipe. So yeah, I can't remember if I've actually still got this mould or whatever. He's in a pretty decent nick. Yeah, he's missing his shoulder blaster, but got that rocket launcher. So yeah, he was in there and all of that for 20 quid, which weren't bad at all. Just checking there's nothing else in here, which there isn't. So yeah, I mean, it's a good lot. It's a good lot. I'm just a bit disappointed about that, but that's my own fault. I should have looked at the pictures. It's not necessarily the sellers. But yeah, I think this alone is worth the 20 quid, let alone the fact that we've got another Titan Master and a Sideswipe as well. So yeah, I'll tidy him up and we'll do a little bit of comparison, shall we? Okay, so here is my official hot rod. And I can definitely tell now this is the KO. This is the knockoff, and you can see there's a slight difference in colour. These are a little bit more vivid colours here, and you can definitely see the colour in the plastic is completely different. It's a darker blue. It looks alright though, don't it? It doesn't look bad. It holds together pretty well. I'm going to transform into robot mode. It's got a few nicks here and there, but all in all, I'm happy with that. I want the Target Master version of this figure. I really do, and I'm struggling to find one for a decent price. But I thought, as I'm getting a little bit of a hot rod display, and I don't really like playing with my MPs, and I haven't really bothered with this one too much since transforming into car mode. I thought, you know what, for 20 quid, I'll get him and I'll mess about with him, so that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, pretty awesome little deal for 20 quid. I can't really moan at all, that's alright. So today is Sunday the 22nd of January, and that was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I've had a bit of a COVID nightmare, so I got tested positive for COVID last Sunday, I think it was. My son was meant to have an operation to have his tonsils out, which got cancelled. Oh god, it's been an absolute nightmare, to be honest with you. But I have had a few toys to keep me through those miserable, snotty, achy nights. But yeah, I thought I'd show you what I've picked up in the meantime. Before we get into the new stuff, this thing kept me happy for a long time. This is that knockoff Rodimus, or hot rod, that you saw a few seconds ago in this video, and I've taken some of my official accessories and put them on him. He's in really good nick. The chip that I thought he had on his arm was just a bit of like dirt, and he's really good. The only odd thing is in robot mode, and actually in all modes, is the clear plastic is very clear. So like you put the visor down on this and the visor is there, but you can't really see it because it's clear. Same with the windscreen. So that's the only major difference between the two of them. But he's an awesome figure, and I actually managed to sell the spare cup head for £8 posted. So like this whole thing, that Rodimus now has cost me what, less than, well, with the postage off, about 14 quid, and I'm probably going to flog on a few more bits from that set anyway. But yeah, I was enjoying him. Not Friday just gone, Friday before, I can't even remember what date it was anyway. I noticed Tarn had come in stock from Star Action Figures, and the next day, less than 24 hours later, through Royal Mail, standard shipping, Tarn arrived. I've done a little short on this guy, and he's really nice. He's a really good representation of Tarn. For those of you that are interested, here is the MMC Tarn alongside him, so he's a bit bigger. This is a chug scale figure, apparently, but now we've got this version of Tarn. I think the scale is slightly different these days, isn't it? Transformation on this isn't the best, to be honest with you. I mean, it is a little bit finicky at times, but I have noticed something on this figure, as well as Breakdown from Evolution, is there's a lot more sprue stuff left on there. I had to trim down 2 parts on this figure in order to get it to transform, because there was flashing left on the sprues, which is really an odd thing. I think this guy could have done with obviously some better light piping. You can't really get any light through there on the top, unfortunately. So I would have liked either better light piping or his eyes painted. This thing has a lot of clear plastic on it. The entire body is clear plastic. The guns are clear plastic. And that is my only worry with this figure. There's a hell of a lot of clear plastic going on. But all in all, you know what? Putting that to one side, because we've had clear plastic figures that have been alright before, like Jazz, for example, from Studio Series. He's good. He's a decent little figure. He's a good representation of Tarn. It's nice to get something from IDW. And I'm really, really happy to have him. He's a really cool addition to Evolution. I actually listed my MMC Tarn, and he sold for like a minute before the guy cancelled the bloody order. And I'm in two minds still whether to keep him or not, because I love this version of Tarn. This probably was one of the best figures that I owned. And I don't know whether to move him on or to keep him. I'm really in two minds about him, I really am. But either way, I've got this Tarn, and he's a good version, and for 30 quid, you can't really moan, can you? So he's awesome, so I picked up Tarn. Now, yesterday I went to Burton-upon-Trent, and I had a look round there. Toy Master, they had some of the what they're called, Earthspark figures in. None of the new deluxes. I might have been tempted to pick those up if they had them, but they had a few of the other kiddier type figures, which was cool to see. But the winning shop has to be Game. It's unbelievable what stuff they had in there. They had loads of Star Wars and Marvel Legends. Some of them are dirt cheap. Transformers wise, they had some of the Cyberverse Deluxes. They had Tonkonator. They had loads of Legacy stuff. And there was one thing that I really wanted to pick up. And it was because Dave shot and picked him up and said, you know what, I've really enjoyed this toy. It's something I pre-ordered and cancelled because I didn't want to pay 90 odd quid for it, but I picked him up for 43 I think it was, because I had some money left on my game card. Here is his tank Megatron, the crossover with G.I. Joe, and as you can see, he's alright. Now, what I will say about this figure is, you need to remember that this is predominantly a G.I. Joe vehicle first. So the G.I. Joe his tank vehicle is pretty much flawless, right? The alt mode is spot on. There's been a lot of compromises made for the actual robot mode, and you can tell that the engineering on this isn't done by the normal Transformers people, right? You can tell that. There is a lot of gaps, right? There's gaps all in the back here. There's a big backpack on there. The most annoying gap for me is in the gun. They've left that part hollow, which is just... that's the only criminal thing on this thing. It should have ankle rockers. It should have wrist articulation. The head sculpt is probably one of the best Megatron head sculpts I've ever seen. It's awesome. That said, and yes, he is very light. The materials are quite thin in places. But that said, he's not a bad figure. He's not a bad figure. Is he a £100 toy? No, absolutely not. Is he worth the money I paid for him? Absolutely yes. And yeah, I'm actually tempted to pick up the Bumblebee now. Just to put Hogwatcher in with that Bumblebee instead of Stalker. Now you can see here that I've got the Baroness, which is a figure that comes with him. I'm trying to save as much money as I can on my collection now. And like, this is my actual childhood Baroness. So this is stored in the box in the loft. I didn't see the point of opening up a retro figure when I've got the original one up the loft. Yes, I haven't got the accessories, but it doesn't really matter. She doesn't need a gun. She's sitting in the back of an entire Cybertronian weapon, do you know what I mean? So I've actually listed that figure on eBay, and hopefully I'll get a little bit of money back, and maybe I can put towards a Bumblebee, which would be nice. I've already got the figure, so there's no point in someone else who might want that reproduction figure for their collection, maybe in the packet, can have that. But yeah, I picked up his Stamp Megatron. He is a decent little figure, well, quite big figure. He's actually really big, to be honest. I mean, if we put him next to Tarn, who's a Voyager, this is like old leader size, maybe even bigger. In fact, he's not far off Menasor size. But yeah, he's a cool figure. I'm really, really happy to have picked him up. And yeah, it's going to be cool to get some of my vintage G.I. Joe figures out and pose them with these. I think that'll be really, really cool. The only other stuff I've been up to be honest, is playing God of War Ragnarok. So I don't really talk about computer games here, but I have to say, I've always said my two best favourite games of all time were Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid. I think I'm going to have to throw the Norse Saga God of War games in there because they are absolutely stunning. If you haven't played Ragnarok, play it. It's unbelievable. If you haven't played any of them, give the first one a go. It's on PS Plus. Have a look, give it a go. And that's it for this week in toys. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'll try and make these a little bit more regular now. I'm alive again. But until next time, I've been Zort Rider, and I'll catch you again really, really soon.